The topic
Yeah, WavyOcho. I'm gonna react to she refused to snitch, so she went to prison for it. So
of snitching,
let's talk about it. Let's see who she is, bro.
telling
whatever you want to call it, is at the forefront of hip hop right now. But it reminded me of an event 2 decades ago. In 2001, Lil Kim found herself caught in a shootout in Manhattan. With 20 bullets flying from both sides, the shootout was brought to court, and Lil Kim was asked to testify under oath and could end up in prison if she failed to tell the truth. But while facing a federal grand jury, something crazy happened. One of the most legendary beefs in hip hop was between Lil Kim and Foxy Brown, both of which even went to the same high school together.
And they both from the same borough, bro. You know, from Brooklyn, BK. Let me ask y'all this: would y'all date a girl from BK? Would y'all date a, or would y'all even date a girl from the BX? Or would y'all date a girl from New York, period, bro? Let me know down in the comment section, bro.
attention primarily
Came from their membership of two rival groups. Lil Kim was with Junior Mafia, whereas Foxy Brown was with The Firm. In February of 2001, Lil Kim did an interview with Hot 97. She was leaving the building and was accompanied by her manager D-Rock and her bodyguard. The doors of Hot 97 regularly have famous rappers crossing paths, and Lil Kim found herself walking past Capone and Nori, both of which were affiliated with Foxy Brown. They had a song called Bang Bang, which featured Foxy taking shots at Lil Kim. A back and forth of words were exchanged, but this sadly escalated into a shootout. One man in Capone and Nori's entourage was wounded, but thankfully that was the height of it. The police arrived, and Lil Kim's manager and her bodyguard were taken to court for weapons charges, and Kim was taken to the stand as a witness. She was, after all, on the radio just before this all happened. However, in front of a federal grand jury, she told the courtroom that her bodyguard and manager were not there that night. She had covered for her friends and refused to snitch. This was clearly a risk she was willing to take and suffer the consequences. And hopefully, so long as everyone didn't tell the police anything, she assumed she was safe. But unfortunately for Kim, there was video footage from that night of Lil Kim's manager opening the door for her, the people that she said she didn't know. Standing beside them was also her bodyguard, who she claimed wasn't with her either. There was indisputable evidence that Kim had committed perjury, or lied in court under oath. She was charged with conspiracy to commit perjury, making false statements, and obstructing justice. The worst case scenario for her now was 20 years behind bars. This behavior was far from the norm, and for Lil Kim, especially as a woman, it was particularly unbelievable even today. Snitching is something that's traditionally viewed as gang activity, usually the most common being men that are involved in it. So it's a real upfront thing for Lil Kim to, what some people may consider dumb, but very attuned to her value system, for her to really take one on the chin and not tell on anybody. It's incredibly ironic.
That street code shit. She following that street code shit.
to that the most
Manly person around this whole event was a woman. I mean, what is snitching exactly? Not to go into it too much, but usually it refers to someone going to the police to report or tell something on someone that was accompanying them during a crime, and then they sell them out so they don't serve any time or get a reduced sentence. It's more become colloquially known as, hey, this person shouldn't be talking to police because they're involved in gang or street life, and giving them any type of statements that could lead any investigation forward would also be telling. Lil C's, though, was Biggie's hype man and a respected member of Junior Mafia, but when he was testifying in Kim's perjury trial, he had a falling out with Kim. Lil C's told MTV at the time, "Me and Kim wasn't on good terms for the moment, and she made it clear to the world that she didn't want to have anything to do with me and my peoples. So she wasn't trying to call us to her defense. Being that we was witnesses there, the US government subpoenaed us, and there's nothing you can do about that. When you're subpoenaed, you either come or they take your ass to jail. It's just that simple." So Lil C simply told the court what happened and proved that Lil Kim had committed perjury. And Lil C's argued that the same thing could have happened to him if he didn't tell the truth. He said, "These federal people knew everything. They had phone taps. They had the video cameras from the shooting at Hot 97. They had that all on tape." 2 weeks after Lil C's testified and 2 months before Lil Kim was scheduled for a prison sentence, she decided to hit back. She filed a $6 million civil lawsuit against Lil C's for using her image without her permission in an upcoming DVD, The Chronicles of Junior Mafia, Part 2, Reloaded. Without getting Kim's permission, this constituted false advertising and false endorsement. C's had also allegedly tried to stage interviews with other Junior Mafia members about Kim's trial. It was Lil Kim's way of getting back at him and letting him know what she thought of him. Lil C's maintained his position that he's not a snitch and said that Kim should have gone for a plea bargain. This is when, instead of doing a trial in front of the jury, you plead guilty up front and receive a much more lenient sentence. The fact that Lil Kim brought this to a trial too shows that she must have had confidence or delusion in her case and her lawyer, and she probably did have a good lawyer because she only ended up getting 1 year in prison. But perhaps more importantly, she came out of prison with her integrity completely intact. There was nothing anyone could say to throw dirt on her name. Snitching is something that could, or at one point, ruin.
So everybody was jacking Lil Kim, bro. Everybody was jacking Lil Kim, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, everybody, like, and some of these female rappers nowadays, some actually look up to Lil Kim, like Cardi B, like fucking, damn, Megan Thee Stallion, etc., like.
Rap career and possibly
put you in harm's way. But it doesn't seem to be the case anymore with a couple of other people who have been exposed for telling as of late. When we think of a rapper telling, the first person who comes into mind now is Tekashi 6ix9ine. He admitted to the federal government that he was a member of the 9 Trey gang who would rob people at gunpoint, and cooperating with the law, taking the stand, he could basically buy back his entire life. He was initially expecting up to 47 years behind bars.
Do y'all think anybody is gonna touch 6ix9ine anytime soon, bro? Do y'all think so? Because because ever since he got out, I ain't gonna lie, he hasn't been touched, bro. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. Feel me? Like, he has not been touched.
he managed to cut that
down to 2. Yes, it was supposed to affect his safety outside, to which people thought he would go into witness protection, but that wasn't the case. Did it affect his music career? Yes, but he obviously preferred it over 5 decades behind bars. And some people are even bringing up the argument now that perhaps it wasn't the fact that he told that ruined his music career, but the fact that people didn't like him and he told, because that brings a connection to the next individual, which is Gunna. In the eyes of the people, a more debatable example of telling comes from him. Unlike Lil Kim, he went down the plea deal route and has had mixed results. As you probably know, most of the artists on the YSL label have been arrested for RICO charges or racketeering, but Gunna seems to have been given preferential treatment. Being the first one to take a plea, a bunch of people have put 2 and 2 together and believe that he cooperated with law enforcement. Even the video footage is out there. He got 500 hours of community service where he'll talk to kids about the dangers of gang violence, which is clearly way better than being locked up. The video that released of Gunna was him answering questions and telling a judge that he knew that YSL was more than just a music label and a gang that needed to end. Most people consider any form of cooperation with law enforcement as snitching, but Gunna claims that this was not the case. He's saying that through his plea deal route, or the team around him, is that everything Gunna told the court was not testimony, and his statements in this court can't be used as evidence for anything else. So, supposedly, Gunna's response to these questions doesn't affect the trials of other members of YSL, but he is a state's witness, and if they do go to court, he has to get on the stand and tell the truth. Otherwise, he'll face the same fate as Lil Kim. But to put Lil Kim's refusal to tell in a better perspective, let's take an example of another female rapper who was being accused of telling, Megan Thee Stallion. She was driving home from a party with Tory Lanez. At some point, Tory is found guilty of allegedly shooting her in both feet. The police arrived and she said she lied to the police that it wasn't Tory to protect him. However, she was changing her mind through social media, eventually telling people that he did shoot her, and then when she ended up showing to the court case to testify, Megan Thee Stallion seems to draw the line at the same spot that Lil C's does. She was happy to lie to the police on the scene, but on social media, and later on in front of a packed courtroom, where her word could be held against her, she decided to tell the truth. And this has received mixed responses. A lot of the report for Megan Thee Stallion argues that she's a citizen, which Lil Kim was in the same way. If you're not a part of a criminal gang or not a part of the crime, then the laws of snitching don't apply. This very argument came from Whack 100, who posted a picture on Instagram which read, Megan Thee Stallion is a civilian.
She's a civilian. Yeah, she's a civilian. She can't be classified.
As a snitch. Civilians tell the truth. He interestingly captioned the picture with, my daughter is raised the same way, hashtag not guilty, stop trying to enforce ice hockey rules on a kickball field, which is a fair take from someone who's actually involved in that lifestyle. But perhaps things are just different now. When Lil Kim was coming up, she wanted to be seen on the same level and playing field as other men, both creatively, artistically, rapping ability, and being able to hold her own on things outside of the music. There were incredibly few female rappers around when she came up, so she fought long and hard to give female rappers the respect and credit that they get today. So Lil Kim perhaps didn't see herself as a citizen that was separate from what was happening, and she'd rather lie and potentially risk prison so people didn't think any differently. 16 years from those courtroom dramas though, Lil Kim and Lil C's met once again, and under better circumstances. They were both celebrating what would have been the 47th birthday of their former close friend, Biggie Smalls. Lil C's apologized to Lil Kim, and they buried the hatchet. Hip-hop is often defined by beefs and moments of conflict, but this was a beautiful moment of old friends reconnecting, despite her having the right to not accept his apology considering it helped land her in prison. Lil Kim's place has been firmly cemented in hip-hop history for her contribution to rap and fashion, but she should also go down as the female rapper who never snitched in the face of a lot of time, 20 years, when we have male rappers.
Okay, that's the vid. Let me know what y'all think about this shit, bro. How y'all feel about Lil Kim as a rapper? Like what she did for the rap for the rock community, bro. Like and for the fellas, would y'all smash Lil Kim, bro? Let me know down in the comments. Would y'all smash her? Let me know. Can you make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe? You guys know the vibes. Whoever you are.